So if we're not happy with the products that we see for women, right, then we want to invest in those things and understand, because then we can grow our money and also make an impact because you're making the world better in things that matter to you. You're making the world better in things that you want to leave as a legacy to your kids. You're
Right.
participating in that and you're directly affecting change.
Buckle up for a new episode of the Be S.H.E podcast, the show where we have real and raw conversations to inspire and empower you to be seen and heard so you can create balance and everything you want in your life and business. I'm your host, Heidi Schock, and I'm excited to walk alongside of you on this journey of being seen, heard, and empowered. Welcome to today's episode of the Be S.H.E podcast, Be Seen, Be Heard, Be Empowered. And do I have an incredible guest that I'm speaking with today? And I'm so excited to chat with her because she's going to help us. She's going to help educate us and empower us to take charge of our finances and our savings through investing. So I am excited to welcome Tanaha Hairston with me today. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we dive in, I'm going to introduce you to everyone, and then I have a question to kick us off. So Tanaha Hairston is an expert in impact investing, known for her exceptional ability to align financial returns with social good across various asset classes. With extensive experience in impact investing, I love that, and encompassing businesses, funds, and real estate, Taneha has dedicated her career to empowering and inspiring women investors and cultivating a community driven by purposeful investing. As the founder of Rise, Investing with Profit and Purpose, Taneha has created a collaborative investment community focused on connecting women through impactful investments. Her vision is to equip women with the tools and knowledge needed to make a positive impact in investing in critical areas such as climate, education, gender equality, and social change. I love your mission, Taneha, and I'm really excited to dive into this conversation because I know I'm going to learn a lot by talking with you too.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
uh,
my God.
yeah, this is so
I'm
exciting.
excited.
Me too. So my first question for you, Taneha, is, your passion for helping women with investing and especially in making an impact in the way you help them and the way you do in the world. Is this something that you had a challenge with in your past when growing up or when you were navigating this specific space, or is this something that you had a passion for and so you educated yourself and have created this journey through that process?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for having me, Heidi. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. And to answer your question, yes, yes, and yes, right? But first, like, here's the why. So we as women are 80% more likely to suffer from financial hardships, right? When we get older. And it's because, right, we're blindly trusting. We blindly trust partners. We blindly trust advisors. We blindly trust, right? We're 75% of like the philanthropists, which means that we blindly give to charity, right? We're just blindly giving.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, right, that's why we focus on education. And that's why I'm passionate about educating along the way. If we look at some of the back end data for us as women, like from the business owner side, we now own 42% of the US businesses, right? And we're 77% of the professional workforce, right? Between 22 and 54. So 77%, and then 42% of women business owners. But yet, right, we still handle around 60% of the US household chores, which means that we're doing all of the things all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that dual burden highlights the need for comprehensive support, right? And really understanding what we do with what we've earned and what we saved, right? But then also to do so in a time concise manner with community, right? Women really like community. So knowing that data, knowing those facts, right? It's not enough to just earn, right? But we also have to learn how to make our money work for us.
Mm.
And I'm going to repeat that because I think that's a really important point, right? We have to learn how to make our money work for us. So many of the rhetoric, the past couple decades has been in us earning, right? But then how do we maximize that, right? By understanding how to invest, how to grow our money, right? But then also to, how to save it. That's making your money work for you in an efficient way. So what we do at Rise is we marry the two, which is how to invest, right? Which is make your money grow for you, right? So you put money in into an account, right? But then it's also growing. And you have to grow because if you don't, then you're losing the value of the money with inflation. So so we all have to invest, right? This is a new concept for us as women because,
Mhm.
50 years ago, we couldn't even open a business bank account
Right.
without our partners, or right. So all of these things are new for us, right? They're newer. It's women are very comfortable talking about how they're redoing their houses, right? Or what they're doing, from a purchasing point of view. But in terms of having comfortable conversations about money, those things are new for us. So what we do is we marry, right, the desire of changing the world and making the world better, right? Because we as women are more likely to invest in things like that. We care,
Mhm.
right? But also we marry it with growing your money. So if we are uncomfortable about what we see from polluting our environment, right, then we can invest in clean energy. Our money can grow for us at the same time. If we're uncomfortable about the housing situation, we can invest in affordable housing solutions, right? If
Mm.
we're uncomfortable with the fact that, we look around and we see our educational system, we can invest in things like that. Same thing for medical, right? If we're uncomfortable with the number of bras, period solutions, hormone products, breast products, well, then we should invest because as investors, we invest in things we know, like, and trust, right? So who's going to invest in those things, men?
No.
So if we're not happy with the products that we see for women, right, then we want to invest in those things and understand, because then we can grow our money and also make an impact. So we start by saying, pick two things that you want to change in the world. And then you're less likely, we just came off of a presidential election. You're less likely to be so affected, right? Because you're making the world better in things that matter to you. You're making the world better in things that you want to leave as a legacy to your kids, right? You're
Right.
participating in that and you're directly affecting change. So I'll talk through some of the stats, around these things and the returns around them. But it really started because I've always, really been interested in investing. It's been a long journey. I started very, at a young age, and I ran a private investing group 13 years ago. I was manager. Only men came, and then the men invited other men, and then you see us sharing deal flow and business opportunities and their net worth growing. And I'm like, where are the women over years, right?
Right.
And my children were really small then, right? And now they're older. I'll be an empty nester in a couple years, so I can do something about it now, right? But it's a mindset for women because it's a confidence and it's an empowerment, right? Which takes work as opposed to the men. Let me see the opportunity, right? Ready to invest, ready to grow money. So it's a movement to get women into this focus. And as a child, we would take trips to Mexico, and our parents would intentionally kind of show us these areas that were challenged by, sanitation or what. They would intentionally drive us. So I've always had a heart for helping, always had a heart for these things. And so the beautiful way now is you don't have to choose. Your money is, being used whether you're doing it or not. You just want to make sure it's being used for good. When you put it in a bank, they're investing it, right? So no matter what happens, your money is being invested. It's just if you're doing it and you're controlling the how you want the change to affect in the world. It's happening
Yeah.
whether you're doing it or not. They ever, banks are doing it, advisors are doing it, so it's happening either way.
Yeah. You shared so much there that I want to unpack. And like I love there's you so much brilliance there. I love that you shared community. and women love community, because I think when it comes to finances and investing, I know for me personally, it can be scary. And to see that you're building community so women don't feel like they're alone, I believe is just incredible and amazing, because you don't see that with other, investing opportunities or investing companies. And I have two children. My son is 13, going to be 14 this month, and my daughter's 15. And I'm not equipped to teach them how to properly invest or where to even begin. So another reason why I really love what you're doing, because I know that you're going to share with us some things that ways to work with you or ways to create a free account. And I know that I'm going to want to share this with my daughter as well. And I know there's a lot of moms listening that feel the same as me. So I really appreciate you bringing that up, that you have children, and similar to where I'm at too, because I'll be an empty nester in a few years, and I need to set myself up for success. And I also want to set them up for success.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I think one thing to understand is it's not complex, right? I think finance has been made to feel difficult, but it's not. Just remember, right? And tonight for Kicks and Giggles, everyone on the call, while you're watching maybe a Christmas movie over the next 2 months, just Google how do wealthy success always leaves clues. Google how do wealthy people invest, right? Just Google it, right? And what you'll see is this little circle pie chart, right? And you'll see, they invest in public markets, which is what you all know. Everybody knows that: stocks, bonds, mutual funds, right? And remember, you can do that by yourself or you can do it with an advisor. Either one. Investing, you can always do DIY, do it yourself, or done for you, right? With an advisor. So Google that. Just easy. You can do that tonight yourself, but then you'll see some private things, right? Along the other part of that circle. And those things are what you also hear about, right? But I'm just going to put it together right now. You see real estate, right? You'll see things like lending people money, debt, you'll see, things like private equity, which is investing in private businesses, right? You'll see things like that along the outside of that public markets. And
Yeah.
those are called private markets. And those are the ones that, we love because I like them because the model is built from with an impact component in mind, right? So first of all, everything that I share here is for educational purposes only, right? You always want to consult with your team if you have one, but I'm about to throw out some numbers, right? So I have to tell you that. That's my legal compliance disclaimer.
Mhm.
Um, so when you Google the past 50 years of the S&P, right? You can just do that by yourself. If you just put your money in a fund, that's a public market fund, right? What we encourage is to align that with impact, right? And find opportunities to where you can align even public things with impact. What we also share on the private side is we say pick two, right? The top ones for women are they like to invest in education, healthcare, clean energy, right? No more polluting the world for the next generation, right? Gender equality, right? Infrastructure, right? Making sure that our roads are safe, there's access to Wi-Fi and infrastructure, right? All of these things are things that women love. Agriculture, farming, right? Which is the basic fundamental, right? Food and water, right? Which are things like investing in our soil. 33% of our soil, right, is unusable. It's investing in water systems, right? So it's investing in better farming practices. So that way we can have better food, cleaner food, or more natural organic food. So there's returns on that. So you can say, let's say, for example, you pick two and you're like, I want to invest in clean energy. What do you have there? Well, we've got a beautiful energy fund in our network, right? Which puts up a clean energy plant. They have one in the US, they have one in, South America. And then that means that they're offering that between a 6 and 12% return, depending on which one, or you can do a combined, which is 12% return. It's beautiful because these things are passive income. So
Mhm.
you can just do the math, and we have a spreadsheet, right, that we can walk you through so you can understand expectations, right? Different, from a business that you're just starting up. These are things with a track record that you can look at past results and you can see the past returns. And then we help you put those things in a spreadsheet so you can understand what your passive income will be. And we have that fund. You can start at $100, right? That's something that we make an introduction to. We make introductions and we educate you on your expectations, right? So that's a very low one. We have a women's, I'm just giving out examples, right? Women's startup. 80% food waste turned into beautiful leather. She's actually championing our trip to Italy next year, right? So much of the leathers are covered in plastic. Think Dolce & Gabbana, Chanel, Gucci, they're all. So we're doing a trip on sustainable manufacturing next year, right? And so we had a lot of women invest in her company. When you invest in a startup, you're looking for a potential 25x return, right? Because businesses, right, they would be on more this side of the risk profile. On this side of the risk profile, think real estate, right? Because it's based on a physical thing. So we'll make an introduction to a real estate fund. So think affordable units, right? To where you can get high double digits returns plus passive income as well. Passive income is just money coming in your account, right? And you're doing nothing because you're investing alongside. Real estate, you can do DIY, meaning you can do it yourself, or you can invest alongside someone else that is doing the work, has found the opportunity, and then you would expect this return. Same thing, we share a spreadsheet. We tell you what your expectations for returns are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those are beautiful, right? Still impact, but high return. And then farming, those are on the lower end of the return spectrum, some of them that we have, but those are the highest of impact. So you can see, like, when
Yeah.
you're investing and you're like, oh my gosh, I just invested in a clean water fund that's bringing clean water to remote villages, right? I mean, like, it's like the dream life. Finding these opportunities, investing in them, sharing them, it is the dream life, because you're educating yourself. So we meet second Tuesday as a community virtually, not in December, but monthly second Tuesday. We have dinners a couple times through the year, and we do like a yearly event. I just told you about the one that will be in Milan, Italy next year.
Yeah.
So that is the impact investing community. We're all about changing the world,
Mm-hmm.
but we're all about growing money while we change the world. We bring in these opportunities, my team and I, we vet them,
Mm-hmm.
we do diligence on them, and then we walk alongside you as you invest in them while we make the introductions. We've got beautiful tools and educational videos. And so that's what we focus on. That's where we focus. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
incredible. I love that it's like about charity. You can really find really what you're passionate about, whether it's children, in very impactful water, clean water, real estate, everything that you shared. And you're also able to get a return on it. So
yeah.
you are contributing for the betterment of something that you are passionate about. That means a lot to you personally. You get to give and support and help, and also get a return on that to grow the welfare of your own life in the process and your finances, which is incredible because I've never heard anything like this before. So what brought you to this space, and how did you create this and figure this out to help women not only give from their hearts, because as you said, we are juggling a lot of hats. We are more in business and more in the career space than we've ever been before. We're also still in charge of the homes. So we're juggling a lot of hats, and
Yes.
we still want to create financial freedom for ourselves as well, and be able to be the teachers for our children in that process also. That being said, a lot of us don't know what we're doing. And you, like you had mentioned, we're givers. We want to donate to charities. We want to fund things, and you lean in from our heart, and you're giving the opportunity for the best of both worlds. So how did you create this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So one thing, it's not my first rodeo, right? So 13 years ago, I was a manager and director of this private investing network. The difference is that, the network was filled with all white men, right? And so the impotence was not on, and the importance was not on impact, right? It was just on finding opportunities that generated a beautiful prospective financial return. So
Okay.
it was just profit, not profit and purpose, which is what we're doing now, right? I integrated the purpose part with Rise, right? So number one, this is not my first rodeo. So, and when you're in a community like that, right, you're working with, others that are in finance, right, that have sold and exited companies.
Mhm.
So for years, right, I was working under that where they, invest in all sorts of things, all these private things, because private is really the bigger companies are already really, heavily capitalized, right? They're larger, right? So the growth, just intuitively think about it. When they're so big, right, the amount that they can grow is not the same as a company that has this potential growth trajectory, right? Or a team that's found this massive undervalued property or asset that's undervalued, right? And they're going to put together a business plan to grow it and then sell it, right? So just think about that, right? So you can see why sometimes some things have a growth potential and some things have a growth potential that may not be as large, right?
Right.
It's
Okay.
really simple. It's
Yeah.
simple. It's so
Yeah.
intuitive. Um, so when you're investing in public companies, right, which are generally maybe not as risky just because they're bigger, right? They're already bigger, but that means that the growth potential is not going to be, your expectation is not going to be as high. So
Right.
two pieces of homework: A, Google how do wealthy people invest, look at that circle, and
Mhm.
then two, Google what the inflation rate is now, so you know that you at least need to be beating that. Otherwise the value of your money is losing value, and you want to have, that for your kids. You want to leave a legacy for your kids. And so I was married very young. I left my corporate career as a computer scientist, right? And we traveled and we had an advisor young, and no one educated me. No one took the time to educate me. And then, that was a large component of my life. And, then all of a sudden I became going through a divorce. I became the financial leader of our household, right? So then, I had to learn. Luckily for me, all right, I was asked to be the managing director of this private network, right? So for years, I had that coaching and tutelage of the right deal flow to look for, right? Because, these ones that had sold companies and that were managing on behalf of others, right? They wanted a significant return, right? So through the process, right, of building that, running that, growing that, I wrote an article called Changing the Game of Venture Capital, published by the Journal of Private Equity, right? And then just really learned and educated myself alongside, obviously, this network of ones who had built and sold enterprises, right? And then the only difference is that this time I added the impact component, right? So it's almost like if you started a podcast, right? You ended this one and you're like, I'm going to start a different one. You've already built a podcast,
Right.
right? You're just gonna, right? So
Yeah.
you're maybe going to tweak it by focusing on, let's call it kids this time, right?
Right.
So, but you've
Yeah.
already built a podcast, right? So
Right.
it's very similar, right? I've already done this. It's
Yeah.
just focusing on women and we're adding impact. We're
Right.
just highly scrutinizing the opportunity to make sure they are impactful as opposed to looking at everything. We're looking at them from the impact lens. Like, does this solve a UN sustainable goal, right? Education,
Yeah.
healthcare, gender equality, infrastructure, farming, sustainable, right? We're looking at things like that.
Yeah.
And it's just a tighter lens, but you've already started a podcast. If you turn around and close this one and do another one, well, you already know how to do it, right? Because
Right.
you've been doing it for, let's call it 5 years, right?
Right. Yeah, I love that you bring the heart-centered piece into it, the profits with purpose. It's just beautiful. And I know a lot of women that are listening to you right now or today when they're listening, it's just going to resonate deeply with them. So can you share with us, Taneha, how we can reach you? And I know that you want to share how they can get started free. And I know I love that you shared that, there with just $100 investment, somebody could get started. So it's very, for those of you listening, it's not like you have to come up with 25,000 to make an investment in these opportunities that she has. So if you do have a passion that you want to lean into and make an investment in something, reach out to her, be part of this community and get involved and ask questions. And like she said, like they meet every Tuesday, not in December, but in
Once a
January.
month. Yeah, once.
Once a month, and they also go on trips. So who knows where you may go. You can make them go to Italy next year. So Tanea, can you give us more information about how we can get involved in that?
Yeah, so two things. Number one, create a free account, right? At impactinvestingcommunity.com. And we're slowly migrating all of our opportunities to invest from our CRM to this community, right? We just created it because we're going to be adding tools there so that way you can see projections, right? It's what we use when we share things one-on-one. So A, create that account there. And then number two, send us an email at hello@rise the movement so you can be added to our email list. We do a newsletter to where we share an opportunity of the week. We teach you how to analyze it, right? And we also like give general education because we believe it's so important, not for you to keep this knowledge to yourself, but also share it with your kids if you have them, and then the next generation, right? That is so important to us. And then next year we'll be doing a sprint. And so it's an 8-week impact investing, values aligned investing masterclass. And so we'll do that as a part of next year. So send that email, tell us that you want to be a part of that, right? We'll make that one for free. And then we're going to invite in all of our collaborators, right? From that energy fund to talk about clean energy. So you can see what you're saving in terms of fossil fuels, which is just polluting our earth. You can see, and you can see the passive income, right? That comes in from that. Money just comes in your account, and you're doing nothing, right? So just understand, that we have these things coming and we want you to be a part of them. So drop us an email, hello@Rise the Movement, create a free account so that way you can just be notified, and you get confidence through education, right? We as women are super busy. So you want to get started, right? You want to get started and you want to talk to your kids whether they're listening or not, right? So I gave 3 pieces, actually 4 pieces of homework. How to wealthy invest, inflation, right? You can just Google those. Create a free account, impact investing community. So as we are building that out, through Q1 next year, you'll see opportunities. And then 4, drop us an email, hello Rise Movement, just say add me to the email list, right? So that way you can be a part of that as well. And we want you to be included. We want you to educate your kids. We want you to talk to your friends. We want you to talk to your mom, everyone in your ecosystem. Because remember, your money is being invested. Just make sure that it's aligning with you.
Yes. Yes, you couldn't say it any more perfectly. And you get to make money and make impact at the same time. So every time you see your investment growing and you're getting these returns on your investment, you get to also put a smile on your face that not only are you bringing in additional revenue for yourself, additional money, and you're creating a legacy for you, your children, and your future generations, you're also making a difference and a ripple effect and an impact in the world. There's nothing more special than that, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I love it. You said it
Thank
perfect.
Well, thank you. After my little mumble earlier. So, but thank you for joining me today, Taneha. This has been so informative. I can't wait to go sign up on your website for my free account. So I hope all of you listening will join me over there. 2025 is a new year. Hit the ground running. Make this your most successful year yet in every area of your life by being seen, be heard, and empowering yourself to do so. And Taneha has given you basically the red carpet she's laying out for you today in order to set up yourself successfully in your financial world, not only for yourself, but also for your children, your family, and generations to come. So Taneha, this has been such a blessing. Thank you so much for your time today. I know you have a busy afternoon ahead, so I'm going to let you go and just say thank you. I'm so grateful for you. Is there anything we can do, either myself or the people listening, to support you any further?
Yeah, I would say share, right? Share, introduction, share. We love to the mission is to make the world better during the time on earth that we have, and then to leave the world better than we found it, right? So, share, invite them to help us learn, make introductions. That would be great, for ones that are ready, to learn, and let us bring them along.
Yes, that's perfect. Please share this episode with your friends and family who you feel would be interested. And if you don't know if they're interested, share it anyway. You never know where somebody could be sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is just what I need. I need Taneha right now in my life. And this is such a gift. So share this episode with them, share her with your friends and family and other women that you know. Let's increase and grow this community because I love this mission. I love your vision, Taneha, and I am here to support it 110%. Thank you again for being with me here today. Thank you for listening, and please
Everyone, thank
be
you.
empowered to be seen and heard. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.